The Quran. Through the Looking Glass into the Wonderland. Part 1. Have you ever thought what can get you as close as possible to God according to the Quran? Well, here is the answer. The most important activity God has ordered man to do is hidden in the Quran. I would say it is hidden because it is by no means easy to understand it in its profound sense. It is a simple word, but with at least 3 different layers of meaning. The most basic behavior a human has been required to do is ibadah. But are you sure you know the meaning of that? In the most superficial sense of the word, ibadah means worship. That is, the practice of showing respect for God by performing certain rituals such as fasting or saying prayers and the like. However, these are not in essence ibadah. They are just different modes or devices which can bring about ibadah. They are ways to reach ibadah. The second layer represents a deeper meaning, complete surrender and obedience to God, because ibadah has as its root the word abd, meaning slave or servant. So we must show absolute obedience to God as a slave did to his master in the old days. This is the meaning many interpreters of the Quran offer as the deeper meaning, and then elaborate on it in their own many different ways. It is a definitely closer meaning, but it does not explain how and why total submission to God brings about the realization of ibadah. In other words, it does not explain how absolute obedience to God can be useful to humans. It's like memorizing the answer to an exam question without knowing how you have come to the answer, without knowing the scientific process that step by step leads to that particular answer. Such an interpretation keeps you in the dark, revealing only a blurred view of the meaning of ibadah. Another problem with this so-called deeper layer is that it is not only insulting to humanity as it glorifies the abolished, obnoxious tradition of slavery, but it is really insulting to God as well, because it implicitly compares God to a slave owner. Perhaps 1,000 years ago, the imagery upon which this interpretation is built was not so inhumane, but in the modern world it's totally unacceptable. Now, the third layer of meaning is the deepest and the most accurate. It's based on a road construction metaphor. Ibadah is cognate with ta'bid, which means to pave the road. In Arabic, even today, we hear sentences like يُعَبِّدُونَ الطَّرِيقِ, they pave the road, or طَرِيق مُعَبَّد, a paved way. Actually, the abd, or slave meaning, runs parallel to this sense, as paving a bumpy, rough road is like taming a newly enslaved human to do proper bondage service. Now, having this meaning in mind, this paving the way, let's take a look at one of the most famous verses from the opening chapter of the Quran. Every Orthodox Muslim reiterates it thousands of times throughout his or her life in daily prayers. إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ, God Almighty, only for you we do ibadah. The imagery is that of a road built between man and God. From God, existence, mercy, grace, knowledge, in short, divine attributes of all kinds, flow down to the heart and soul of the person who says, إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ, only for you we do ibadah. Only for you we pave the road which leads to you. Only for you we open the gates of our hearts and allow your attributes to slide down along this road and to be finally absorbed by us. only to you and your attributes we are so much receptive. So, to put it in a nutshell, ibadah in the deepest sense means being receptive to divine attributes. But what are attributes and how are they related to humans? Well, first of all, let me tell you that language is a complete failure when it comes to speaking of God. I mean, you can't say a single affirmative sentence without making some sort of embarrassing mistake. For example, God created the world. When we say God created the world, we use the verb created. But did he create the world in the past? The creator of time is trapped in time and creates chronologically in the past? Or is God a third person who is absent from us in our discussion? Not you, not me, but a he? Is God one thing and the world another thing? Is God's existence limited by this world? In other words, God's existence extends up to a certain point where the world's existence begins? And so they are two separate, different things? Spend some time thinking about it. Every sentence about God turns out to be ridiculous. I just want to say that I have no choice but use lots of ridiculous sentences now that I'm speaking about God's attributes. Sorry about that. According to Islamic beliefs, God in essence or that is an absolutely unknowable being. On this level, he is and will be a hidden secret forever, no question about that. On the opposite end, there's this world, sometimes known as the lowest of the lowest, asfalus-safilin. In between, there is a hierarchy of divine manifestations, tajalli. Don't take me wrong, this material world itself is a manifestation too, but the lowest manifestation of God. So, the essence at the very top and material world at the very bottom. From the essence at the top, let's go just one step down in the hierarchy of divine existence, and now we come across God's attributes, or sifat. Divine qualities of various sorts. He is alim, all-knowing, he knows everything. He is murid, he has the strongest of willpowers. He is Rahman, he is replete with love and has enormous mercy on every single being. For instance, he has given existence to the whole universe with no exception. He is Rahim, that is, he greatly intensifies love and compassion on those who comply with the laws of the universe. He is Muntaqim, usually translated to avenger or someone who takes revenge, but this has wrong connotations. This is not exactly what it means. Well, perhaps you want to know what it exactly means. It means the thing that happens when you eat rotten eggs. You throw up. Your digestive system throws it out, rejects it. God is muntaqim, means if you go against the norms of the divine system, you won't be tolerated by the system, you'll be rejected. It's not difficult to understand this. For example, lying isn't compatible with human nature. Most people can feel it. Every time you lie, you feel uncomfortable inside, because you need to remember who you have lied to, how you have lied, to what extent you distorted the truth, what other people you've got involved in your fake story, etc. And if you lie all the time, little by little, you will lose people's trust. In this sense, God Almighty has taken revenge. His qualities are endless, though only some have been mentioned in the Quran. It is through these qualities that he has created the world, and it is through these qualities that we start to have a shadowy knowledge of him. Humans are supposed to absorb as many divine qualities as they are capable of in order to prepare for a final unity with him in the hereafter. This is because two things that are going to unite need to be as same as and as close as possible in order to bring about their oneness and unity. Now, the most important verse in the Quran containing the word ibadah is
وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ.
I did not create the jinn and the human except to do ibadah for me. Here, unlike what it seems at first sight, God is not arrogantly announcing that he has created people only to worship him, but that he is kindly telling people he created them so that they have a chance to absorb his magnificent attributes and step by step get closer to him, turn more similar to him, and in this way pave the way for a glorious day when that final unity is possible. This idea is echoed through other words in the Quran as well, via words such as Masihir, which to a native speaker of Arabic means fate or destination. But indeed, if we go down to the very root of this word, we see something different. Al-Masir is in fact the infinitive of the verb sara, which means becoming. So, in a verse like this one,
وَلِلَّهِ مُلْكُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَلِلَّهِ مُلْكُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَإِلَى اللَّهِ الْمَصِيرُ.
And to Allah belongs the dominion of the heavens and the earth, and to him is the final destination. It not only means that to him is the final destination of everything, but also on a deeper level, it means all creation is going to become him, develop into him in ways and degrees unknown to us. Surely we can't focus on thousands of godly qualities, but is there one most fundamental attribute we can dedicate our entire life to and achieve such divine development? Yes, the answer to this golden question is an emphatic yes, and it lies in a very famous verse in the Quran known as the throne verse, Ayatul Kursi. In the next episode, I'm going to take you through this mind-blowing multi-layer verse, and I promise you will be speechless after listening to it.